Hi, good evening, traders. Krishna Joshi here with 7 Points Capital, bringing you today's trader takeaways. Pretty weak day in SPIs, closed almost 2 points down on the day, which is pretty unusual these days. Uh, and to add fire to the fuel, Netflix is down about 10% as well in the after hours. So we could have a nice down day in SPIs and Qs tomorrow. Going on the hourly on SPIs, this was the up move on not so much, not a lot of great volume. And as you can see, once the downside sort of starts picking up, the volume starts picking up as well. So on the downside, definitely more volume, volatility picking up. And so today we had a pretty decent sell-off. One was in the morning, then sort of sideways for about 3 hours, and the last hour as well. We gave a, we gave back almost like a point on SPY. Let's jump on to the best names that worked for me today. I'm going to start off with the biggest capper on the day. At the moment, in the pre-market was FRAN, and in FRAN, I've traded this stock multiple times in the past, and I know it's a retail company, clothing franchise company, not really doing substantially great. Recent reverse split as well, and that's been the theme. Recent reverse split stocks have been on the tear, and this was no exception. So the stock went up from like $3 to like 340 to almost 550 in the pre-market. And so coming in, I did have the idea was to wait patiently for a stuff into the 550. If we get that, look for a nice sell-off and continuation. So let me just go into, if I can zoom into this area. So in the morning, what I realized was definitely there was a lot of lack of patience today on my side. So I did have a short, covered everything as it went up starts weaking into the 535, 540, build a short position again, and then covered right around here. So one was I wasn't really patient with my entries on the second and the third entry. So if I took a trade and that worked, I wanted to jump in and get back in right away. And so once I got at times it was like I was getting the wash. The moment it would go sideways, I'd eagerly wait to just jump in, and then I'd just do that. So there are quite a few instances where right around here had two break-even trades, sort of where I got in and I'm like, no, it's not yet ready. Stop jumping in on the trade, wait for the setup. And once I saw more confirmation and once I knew that I could risk off of the fives, in fact, not even the fives, 495s and 494 offers started stacking in. So that was my sign to get in, and then I'd get the wash and then build a short position, added more, covered some. And so this is where at this point I was just about between 10 and 11. I was just sort of running out of patience on a few setups that I had. So this was um, FRAN for me, left a lot on the table. Still the best stock on the day. So that goes to tell me that I could have done so much potentially better with the stock. But nonetheless, I'd take this because the low floats have been tough, to be honest. APRN yesterday was a tough one as well, straight up and then just nice reversal as well. So the second best stock on the day for me was APRN. In this one, what I did, so firstly, borrows were tough to get on this. So that was one thing I had to keep in mind. But as you can see, a similar pattern as well, like choked the trade just as I did in FRAN. It was just I think it was more like a mental thing for me where I was seeing certain amount of green on the screen and I was sort of willing to take it off. So that was the problem today. So I built a short position, added more, got stopped out as I saw that this is a nice wedge breakout where the stock is really holding the 10 level and then 10-15 is holding. So ended up getting out, ended up actually going long on all of this and sold into the dip just before 11. Didn't really wait for the entire 11. It's just in the 1080, 85 area. So got a nice long. And then what I did start doing was once I got the 1125 rejection, the idea was to get short, put a feeler on. Once I did that, it sort of ended up building a nice position, covered that one, waited for the pullback on this occasion, which was fairly much better than what I was doing with FRAN, and then got a nice re-add and then sort of rinse and repeat. So once again, like leaving a lot on the table, and that's what I'd been even before making the video. I was just reviewing all of these charts and executions. It was sort of like a little something that was constantly bothering me all day today. So I was sort of all over the place, and then but nonetheless ended up doing pretty decent on this one too. The other one that worked well was the Ebola trade. We've taken this trade in the past, back in 2015, I think, and so waited patiently for this one to play out. Didn't really want to be the first one in. I did actually notice the 143, 145. It was sitting right here when it got called out on the squawk box, and I was busy getting a borrow on it, and I just missed the final push, the squeeze into this one. Seems like fairly thinly traded up until this point. So when I saw the offers come in at 60 and 59, I built a position. 56 is covered some, got back in at 55, and then sort of kept covering, kept adding, and then I did have a decent average price at this point. My average was about 52 half, 53. So I was trying to get out on the 48, 47, 46, but it just kept doing that over under 150. And I just ended up just taking it off for the rest of the day. I felt like maybe the volume is done, maybe it's the volume liquidity has dried off. So I didn't want to take this any longer. So NLNK is still a decent name on the day. But this was again one of those trading the news kind of play where intraday breaking news comes out and I am trying to position yourself. Did miss the long setup, but it's those kind of news. So in the spur of the moment, you have to make two decisions. Does this still have room on the upside? Yes, it does. You look for a long opportunity given your risk management, and uh, once you see that the it seems to be like an exhaustion, no more buying, getting tired at the top of the range with offers stacked in, that's a sign to go short. Final one I'm going to cover is GHSI. So I had a fantastic long pre-market. I did end up taking it right away. So it went up, came right back down. So I ended up covering it. Felt like a nice pump for the morning. So I felt like pump and dump going into resistance. So I did actually take it out right away, and just sort of just kept watching it go up, getting halted and whatnot. So it was a little frustrating as well. So I think it was a couple of things, maybe missing out the GHSI, having the long on and still not doing well with it. So sort of got that kept rolling into my other two trades, which was APRN and FRAN. But I got a nice little short on this one, and I did actually try a little higher around here, but there was no borrow at this point. Luckily, I got some shorts here and covered once I felt like, all right, it's pulling back into VWAP. It could still easily go back, bounce into 250, 260 area. And the stop was still at this point, the decision I had to make was if my stop is still in the 275, which is about 40 cents higher, does it make sense? Do I still see 40 cents of downside? I still did not see that. Felt like a good level to take it around VWAP. So I ended up taking that. Got this nice rejection. Took a trade. Um, Actually, I ended up covering most of it on the first drop that we got, because once this rip came in with a decent amount of volume, along with this volume spike, I felt like all of these washes and dips should be much lower than the previous one. When I did not get that, I was out right away. And this is where I finally felt like the risk reward was in my favor, that if I am going to be wrong on this trade, I'm losing about, I was risking about 307. So risking about 17, 18 cents. I felt like if I was going to be right, there was a fair chance that it gives me a good trade. Uh, on this one again, I could not cover anything. The 225 was the low on this one. So when it came back up, I had to sort of, I was a little late on the covers. But the idea again was, if it does not hold and finish at the bottom of the range and curl down, making that H pattern, I want to be out of that trade. This was a little shakeout, like a small hiccup. More ended up losing like a couple of pennies on small size, but I did quickly get back in, build a short position, covered some, re-added back, and then just held. Had my full size on this one, covered, and then was a little early again. Like I was mentioning earlier, today was just one of those days where the FOMO was definitely kicking in. I felt like, no, this is still going to continue. The moment I saw offers, I would just step in front and I'd be like, oh, this is it, going again. So ended up having decent covers covered in the 195, 96 area. So overall, decent name on the day as well. So that's about it from me for today, guys. Quite a busy, active day for me. Tomorrow is going to be pretty active as well with eBay, IBM, Netflix. So definitely a lot of earnings names, and I might be switching out from a lot of low floats. I might be switching towards more earnings names. So thanks again for watching, guys. Krishna Joshi here with 7 Points Capital. Feel free to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, feel free to message me. Thanks.